Today, we're going to talk about how to navigate the, let's face it, pretty chaotic universe of modern branding. And we've got a really cool map to help us do it. It's called the Brand Constellations Framework. But first, let's just get real for a second. Why is building a brand so hard today? I mean, seriously, it can feel like you're trying to fly through a meteor shower, right? You've got media all over the place, consumers who are incredibly savvy and frankly pretty skeptical, and competition coming from every corner of the globe. It just feels like the old rulebook has been thrown out the window. So before we can really appreciate the solution, this framework, we first have to get a handle on the problem. And to do that, we need to look at how we even got here. It's all about the evolution of brand strategy, from way, way back to right now. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle those modern challenges we just talked about. Then, we're going to rethink what a brand actually is. After that, we'll dive into the 8 stars of the framework, see how they all link up, and then, and this is the important part, we'll talk about how you can use this whole thing to map out your own brand's future. Yeah, the days of just blasting out a message from the top down, they're long gone. Think about it. We live in a world where digital platforms give everyone access to basically infinite information. They can check you out, compare you to your competitors, and scrutinize everything you do in seconds. All this complexity, it just demands a smarter, more connected way of thinking about branding. And this timeline really puts it all into perspective, you know? Branding started out super simple, with artisans just putting their mark on their work. It was a basic promise of quality. Then, boom, the Industrial Revolution hits, and we get trademarks for all these mass-produced goods. Fast forward to the 20th century, and mass media allowed giants like Coca-Cola to tell these huge, sweeping, emotional stories. But the real earthquake was the digital revolution. That's what flipped the script and turned branding from a monologue into a conversation. So the big question is, in this super complex, noisy digital world, how on earth do you find any clarity? Well, this is where we bring in a totally new perspective, a way of looking at brands that actually helps make sense of all the chaos. First things first, we have to completely change how we think about what a brand even is. It is not your logo. It's not just your product. A brand is a mental construct. It's this whole collection of ideas and feelings that lives inside your customer's head. And it's built from every single touch point, every ad, every interaction, every experience they've ever had with you. And that leads us to the core idea right here. A brand exists in people's minds as a constellation of meaning. It's a great metaphor, right? Just think about it. When you look up at the night sky, you don't just see a random bunch of dots. Your brain naturally starts connecting them, forming patterns, seeing shapes like the Big Dipper. A brand works in exactly the same way. So, if a brand is a constellation, then this framework, well, this is our telescope. It's our star chart. It's what gives us a structured way to actually understand, manage, and most importantly, shape that picture that's forming in our customers' minds. All right, so what exactly are these stars? Let's get to it. It's time to meet the 8 key components that form every single brand's constellation. Okay, here we go, the 8 stars. We kick things off with product, which is called the foundation star. That makes sense, right? It's the core of what you're actually offering. Then there's placement, the visibility star. Pretty straightforward, where and how do people find you? Next up is price, the value star, which is all about signaling your worth and where you sit in the market. And of course, there's promotion, the resonance star. That's the story you're telling, the emotional connection you're trying to make. But wait, there's more. It's not just about those 4. You also have to think about the bigger picture. The category you're in, the competitors you're up against, the company itself, your culture, your authenticity, and finally, maybe the most important star of all, the customer. That's the connection star, the one everything else really orbits around. Okay, so now we know what the stars are. But this next part is where the real magic happens. See, the individual stars are important for sure, but the real power of a brand, it comes from how they all connect with each other. It is all about alignment. Let's make this real. Imagine you're a luxury brand. Your product star is shining bright. You're using the best materials, incredible craftsmanship. Great. But now think about your placement star. If you sell that amazing product at a discount store, the whole story falls apart, right? It has to be sold in exclusive, high-end boutiques. When those 2 stars align, that synergy creates this powerful, unmistakable feeling of prestige. And it's the same exact story for pricing and promotion. You can slap a premium price tag on something, but that only works if your promotions back it up. The marketing has to tell a story that justifies that price. A story about exclusivity, about lifestyle, about why it's worth it. See? One star helps the other one make sense.
This one is so important. It's that inside-out connection. When your internal company star, I'm talking about your culture, is totally obsessed with incredible customer service, that directly lights up your external customer star. It's what builds real loyalty. It's what turns customers into your biggest fans. I mean, just think about a company like Zappos. Their internal culture is probably their most powerful marketing tool, hands down.
Okay, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this stuff actually plays out in the real world. And for a total masterclass in getting this alignment right, we really don't have to look any further than one of the biggest, brightest brand constellations in the sky, Starbucks. Just look at how beautifully their stars connect. Their product isn't just coffee, right? It's the experience. It's that third place between home and work. And that idea comes straight from their company culture. Then you've got placement. They're everywhere, in all the high-traffic spots, which makes them a seamless part of the customer's daily life. Their higher pricing feels justified because their promotions, like the loyalty app, build a sense of community and connection. And by focusing on that whole experience, they basically created a new category and blew past their competitors. Seriously, it's a perfect example. So the big question, how do you actually use this? Because this isn't just some dusty academic theory. It's a practical, hands-on map you can use to diagnose what's going on with your brand, build a strategy, and shape its future. All right, let's boil it all down. Here are the key things to take away. Number 1, your brand is a complete system. Nothing lives in a silo. Number 2, synergy is your secret weapon. When you get those stars aligned, their combined power is way bigger than the sum of their parts. Number 3, because of that, even small tweaks in one area can create huge positive ripples across the whole constellation. And finally, number 4, use this thing. Use this framework as your guide, as your map. I think this last thought from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The whole goal here is to stop thinking about branding as a checklist of separate tasks. Instead, you need to see your brand as this living, breathing constellation in the sky. Every single star you manage adds to its overall brilliance and how visible it is to the world. So what this framework really gives you is power. The power to not just sit back and watch what happens, but to be the astronomer of your own brand, to actively shape its constellation. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. What does your brand's constellation look like? Take a good, honest look up at your own corner of the sky. Are your stars all aligned? Are they shining as brightly as they could be? And what story is your constellation telling the world?